How do you feel about the government's digital currency that they're working on?
No f***ing way. No way. That's what I think. I think that's checkmate. That's game over.
That is checkmate.
Because if they apply that to a social credit score, if they decide somehow or another that you need some social credit score system and it's for the benefit of society, and they outline that they can, track your behavior and your tweets and all your things, and you get a score. And if the
already
scores,
doing that, they just haven't released the report cards.
Well, they don't have the kind
they
of
haven't
freedom
sent
that
the
they'd like.
they didn't send the report cards home to the parents yet.
Excellent. Yeah, I this is something that I've been thinking about a lot recently, and this is one of these things that a lot of people are concerned with coming out of the quote unquote new normal. Candace, what are your thoughts on that?
It's interesting that he says they've already been doing it and we don't have the report card yet, because I don't think I was seeing it from that perspective. I was seeing it as something that's in the future and we have to kind of like mass adopt and, hold strong, don't do it. But they have been. They've been tracking like where you go, what you're browsing, unless you're using like some kind of encryption. So, I mean, the damage, I think it might already be done.
What are your thoughts on that, Mick?
I don't know. I'd like to see some evidence on this.
The evidence that they are doing it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here in America, anyway.
Well, they're selling.
I know they're selling our data and information. I know they're spying on us and all that shit. But you think they have a digital, what do you call it? A digital currency?
Well, the digital currency exists. It's just what they're looking to do. There's many digital currencies, Bitcoin and everything else. That it's just whether or not the dollar becomes replaced by a central currency, a Fed coin, or one of the worst case scenarios is if each municipality comes up with their own token, and then you have to buy San Francisco coin to be able to ride the San Francisco, or New York coin to be able to ride the subways. It's and they're all backed by Fed coin, and Fed coin is then backed by the IMF or the World Bank, and the idea of centralizing power on a global scale is it's dystopian to me. I mean, it's something that, they're going to sell it as a good thing. You don't need a passport. You have your coin and it tells you everybody who you are. Your token, not your coin, right? You don't need.
So this is like a Bitcoin thing?
Well,
Yeah.
no.
But a government Bitcoin?
Well, with Bitcoin, though, there's a sense of anonymity, and then you can't also mess with the system. Like, it's already in place. And then if you do make any changes, it has to be mass approved across the scale. So you have, like, all of these different servers, and they have to say, yes, this is valid. And essentially, if you're a holder of Bitcoin, you're kind of voting on it. With like a USDC or something like that, it would be, oh, well, you've been driving too much, or you've been consuming too much red meat, or we don't like your tweets, so all of a sudden your funds are on hold. And where I say it might kind of be happening already. It's like if you look at Alex Bernstein and his, is that his last name?
Berenstein?
Berenstein.
Yeah. Berenson.
Berenson, yeah, Alex Berenson. So they literally have emails from the White House to Twitter saying, what are you going to do about him? So I think, no, they're not looking at the regular Joe Schmo yet, but if you're loud enough, or if you're like Alex Jones, like you're already losing your right to bank.
I wouldn't think that they're not looking at the regular Joe Schmo. You look at what happened in China with COVID, where
Better hope they're not.
They are, whatever list there is, buddy. I hate to tell you, by proxy.
Fuck, I knew it.
In China with COVID, when they had their COVID zero policy, it's already they already have this essentially, and you don't own your property. Everything is government owned. So you have an apartment, you try to use your thumbprint to get into your apartment, and we look at that technology as like, wow, that's so cool. I don't need a key. I don't even need a code. It's biometric scanning.
Right.
Now, your thumbprint goes to get into your own apartment. And they say, well, you were at Starbucks earlier today, and somebody at Starbucks tested positive for COVID, so you have to report to the nearest quarantine camp.
Do you think
they don't let you into your own building?
Well, do you remember when they were doing that? You could turn it off on your phone, but it was in the height of the pandemic, and it would give you an alert if you had a possible exposure to someone.
Yeah.
So they were already doing it like 2 years ago. And then Amazon, I don't know when this happened, but this guy got locked out of his house because everything was Alexa, and someone had reported him for being racist, and there was like no evidence to say that, and he got locked out of his home.
Yeah. They always start off with something somewhat reasonable, right, Mickey? Like, well, it's COVID. We're in a pandemic. And then it comes to, well, you're eating too much red meat and we're shutting your car down. Your carbon footprint's too much. You've used too much air conditioning. Your showers are too long. And they can squeeze whatever they want
They're
out
trying to
of it.
replace the dollar, though?
Correct. Yeah.
Right. Do you think that has maybe like that whole BRICS thing is like they're making the dollar like weaker so that they have a reason to like be like, yeah, fuck the dollar?
The value would still be equivalent to the dollar. It's not
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So digital currency, right? Like right now, every time you swipe your card, it says what you've bought, what you haven't bought, right? But if you buy something with Bitcoin, nobody has access to that information except for you. If you buy something with cash, nobody has access to what you bought except for you.
Okay.
Right? So now what they're doing essentially, if they go with a digital coin, is all of that will be linked to the government. So it's not just your bank that has that information. And they are selling that information. Like you said, data is being sold. But now your government will have access to that information. And then they could, because they have access to it, they can also shut off your access to it. We saw probably the scariest plausible scenario for this was what Canada did with the truckers.
Right.
When the truckers, for people that don't know, there was a big protest with the truckers protesting the lockdowns in Canada. And what did Trudeau do and Trudeau's government do? They colluded with banks to freeze these people's accounts, their own personal accounts. The government seized the assets of their citizens because they didn't like what their citizens were saying and doing.
And it wasn't even the protesters. It was if you owned a coffee shop and served coffee to one of these people, you were now in violation.
Complicit, is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. That's insanity.
It's insane.
That's pure insanity. So, yeah, I think now the question becomes: do we think that this is a good thing? No, I think we're all in agreement that this is a bad thing. How do we stop it? What do we do? Bitcoin?
Doge, Ethereum, top 3.
Do you think that those things are compromised? Do you think they're compromised now?
I don't think Bitcoin can be compromised. No, I think people have tried to do like Bitcoin Lite, right, and try to create off of the back. It's not as successful, and you can see that with just what it's trading at. But the whole point of Bitcoin is that it's forged.
The
like
original point, I'll say.
Yeah, it's fortified. And then if you look at Ethereum, that's like more building blocks, and that's more creative, so you can build things on the network. So you can have a chance to own your own network, and then that's also kind of censorship proof. So I think that they're different things. People have think that like they're all the same, but they have different functionalities. So it's just like where you're putting your money. Honestly, right now, I feel like we just buy, you know what I mean? I feel like it's a lot more safe in these proven crypto markets than in the US dollar. You know what I mean? There's big swings, but so does the dollar.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on crypto? Anything?
I guess my thoughts are it'd be hard to trust anything that you know what I mean? Like, when's the last time the government for sure did something to everyone's benefit and what didn't have some sleight of hand, something else, some other agenda going on?
That's a
you know
very
what I
good
mean?
point.
So I'd be very skeptical to want that. You know what I mean? I don't think I would want that. I'd rather have something that's more, kind of independently.
And you're one of the last guys I know who's cash for a lot of things. What are you going to do in a world without cash, man?
Bro, I just hope it doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't happen. You think it's going to come to that eventually? I mean, I've seen so many places that are like, we don't take cash. It's freaking wild. Like, cash was king, you know?
You can't buy a plane ticket with cash. They won't let you.
Yeah, it's wild. There's
can't
most
walk up to the
stores,
counter
a lot
and buy a
of stores
ticket.
you go to. It's
The
so
hotel
crazy.
I'm at doesn't have cash.
Yeah, it's wild. It is happening more and more and more. I don't know. I got a card that I can, you know what I mean? That's pretty easy. But I'll tell you this, I'm never gonna get a little chip in my body and start putting that up to something.
Yeah. I guess my hope is that the invisible hand always provides. Like there'll be a black market, something or other. There'll be somebody somewhere will figure out how to, take a homeless guy's ID and we'll all be using somebody else's card. We'll all have like the monkey paw back in the day. We'll all have like a homeless wrist in our pocket and we'll just use the homeless guy's chip or something like that he sold for $16 bucks. I don't know. That might be more draconian. Maybe that's
This got really dark.
Did that get really dark?
got
I don't
really
know.
dark.
Yeah, maybe we'll just all harvest our organs, sell them to the rich, and then live on.
Or you could just buy Bitcoin and save the homeless's hands from being severed. So, like,
you don't like the homeless monkey paw? I like a homeless monkey
I think
paw.
one's way less aggressive.
Homer, there's something I don't like about that severed hand.
Marge, don't flake out on me. That monkey's paw is gonna make our dreams come true.
That's what we should have named the show, Homeless Monkey Paw.
Homeless hand does have a ring to it.
Homeless hand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy a homeless hand with Bitcoin on the black market. Now we're talking. See, the market provides. The market provides.
I didn't really understand that clip. I think.
No, really?
No, I did not. I thought they were talking about like the digital credit score.
Maybe it's not a technical score yet, the same way apparently China has a social credit score. But they're making a list and they're checking it twice.
Have you seen that Black Mirror episode on it? It was like, pretty similar with
yeah.
that redhead.
I don't
forget
like
her name.
that show.
It's
It
really
creeps
scary.
me out. It
It's
doesn't
really
make me
scary.
feel good.
No, it's
There's
not supposed to.
Yeah.
There's no time. You're right. I've ever watched
it's like
an
Monopoly.
episode.
You're supposed to not enjoy it.
I love Monopoly. Am I the only person that likes Monopoly?
Really?
No, I don't like Monopoly either. I get really frustrated.
Monopoly was
towards
made to for you not to enjoy it.
the end. Flip
Really?
the board over.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it's the
always
king
win.
of the board flip,
So
man.
I always win,
Yeah,
so I
well,
love it.
You're probably cheating, bro.
How am I cheating?
That's how you really win a Monopoly.
It's not
is cheat,
cheating.
dog.
It's capitalism. No, I don't cheat.
Yeah,
I
but it
exploit.
was created to show the flaws in capitalism.
I know, which is
You do
hilarious.
you do know that.
Yeah. It's hilarious that it's the flaws of capitalism. It's a game about the flaws of capitalism that made $1 gajillion. Weird, always.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.